Some of the most common reptile feeding advice is actually wrong. And these few mistakes can quietly lead to calcium deficiency and serious health issues. Hey, it's Connor with Reptile Microgreens, and today I'm breaking down the biggest misconceptions about feeding reptiles so you can stop guessing and start feeding with confidence. And stay till the end to find a secret tip that helps you with picky eaters and helps their hydration. Myth number 1, all vegetables are healthy. Most people who are just beginning in reptile care might assume that if it's healthy for us or it looks like a green leafy vegetable, it must be healthy for them. But here's the truth. Some vegetables actually block calcium absorption, but only in a specific way. Spinach and beet greens contain oxalates that bind calcium with that same food. So if your reptile is relying on spinach as a main calcium source, they could be absorbing as little as 5% of it. So think of calcium like a taxi, and the oxalates are like a person who jumps in and takes the seat. When oxalates from the spinach bind to the calcium in that same food, they grab the seat before your reptile's body can use it. So the taxi never makes it to the destination. It just gets flushed out the waste. But if calcium comes from a different source, then calcium supplements dusted on top. That's a whole separate fleet of taxis. The oxalates already have their ride. They're not jumping into those ones. So as you can imagine, if you're not feeding them any kind of supplements and you're feeding them high oxalate food, over time that can quietly lead to serious deficiencies. The fix isn't avoiding all greens. It's rotating lower oxalate options so they're getting the calcium they can actually use. Myth number 2. Iceberg lettuce is fine. We look at iceberg lettuce and we think, oh, it's leafy, it must be good for a reptile. No, stay away. Because even though iceberg lettuce isn't toxic, it's basically just water. It fills them up without feeding them, so they don't get the nutrition that they need. Myth number 3, just add calcium powder to everything. This one is huge. Most people think, if I just dust everything, I'm safe. But then, overdoing supplements can actually cause problems too, just like with us. And even worse, if the food itself is low quality, supplements can help, but they can't carry the whole diet. The foundation still has to be good food. Myth number 4, microgreens are just a trend. This one I hear all the time. Aren't microgreens just decoration? You actually eat microgreens, but here's what the research shows. A USDA-backed study found that microgreens can have 4 to 40 times more vitamins than mature vegetables. So they're not just a trend. They're one of the most nutrient-dense food you can feed. Myth number 5, microgreens aren't safe for reptiles. This is one of the biggest questions. Are microgreens safe for reptiles? Answer, yes, when you choose the right one. And this matters more than most people think, because not all microgreens are equal. So some safe options are collard microgreens, mustard microgreens, arugula microgreens, basil. I also love endive and turnip. So there's a great variety of microgreens. And there's some vegetable microgreens to use in moderation. You don't have to completely remove them from the diet, but don't have them as the main source. And that would be kale microgreens, which is nutrient dense, but contains some oxalates, so rotate it and don't rely on it daily. And then avoid spinach microgreens and beet microgreens. And one more thing, what's safe can depend on your specific reptile. A bearded dragon and a crested gecko have very different needs, so when in doubt, check with your vet. And so with microgreens, what's really important to note is that microgreens are just the stage of growing, the stage of the plant's life cycle. Think of a bundle of collards versus collard microgreens. They're both from the same seed source. It's just how long they've been growing. Microgreens have been growing for 7 days, whereas collards 2 weeks to 2 months. So you have the same type of plant. It's just how it's grown changes everything. Think of a chicken and an egg. The egg is more nutrient dense because it's gonna have to grow a whole chicken. Same with your seed. It's gonna have to grow a whole plant. So when you get the nutrition from the seed itself, that's why microgreens are so nutrient dense. So if your reptile can have collards, there's a good chance they can have collared microgreens. And the collared microgreens are going to be more nutrient dense and more tender for your reptile. Myth number 6. My reptile just doesn't like greens. Here's one that frustrates a lot of owners, and you can find all sorts of memes on this. My reptile won't eat greens, but here's what's actually happening. They're not responding to the form of the food. In the wild, they forage, they interact. So when you give them a static bowl, it doesn't trigger that instinct. But when you give them something in a living tray, it changes everything. Myth number 7, more food equals better health. It's not about quantity, it's about nutrient density. And here's where most diets fall apart. Lots of food, but not enough nutrition. Nutrition is key in having healthy reptiles. And unfortunately, a lot of times in our mature vegetables, they've been shipped for weeks, and the way that we grow our produce now is not good for us, and it's not good for our reptiles. So it's really important to find a way to get that nutrient density into your reptile's diet. And here's a secret tip that most reptile owners never try. Rotate your greens every few days. Why? Because no single food has everything that they need. And in the wild, they naturally eat a wide variety of plants. So instead of feeding the same thing every single day, rotate between a few high-quality, low-oxalate options. That variety is what keeps nutrition balanced long-term. And also think of it like this. When you have a picky reptile, when we eat something every single day, don't we get bored of it? It's the same with our reptiles. They can get bored of the same thing over and over. So having that rotation going will greatly increase your chances of them actually eating what you put down. And this is why microgreens become powerful. You can grow multiple varieties, fresh and on demand, and rotate them easily. And if you want to make this simple, I put together a free reptile feeding guide. Plus, it'll show you exactly what to feed and what to avoid. Just take out your phone and start like you're going to text a new message. Type in 26786 into the number, and then type in the word reptile like you're going to message them the word reptile, and you'll get this sent instantly. That's reptiles to 26786. All right, this one small change can turn a picky eater into an active eater fast. So I'm curious, what's one thing you've been feeding your reptile that surprised you in this video? Drop it below. I read every single comment. And if you're curious about what microgreens are and how they relate to reptile, check out this video to dive even deeper and see if it's something that would align with your reptile's diet.